Galactic Central Archives. Centralis Prime, Historical Division. Year 2847, Standard Galactic Time. 500 years after first human contact. The archive chamber stretched beyond normal perception. Shelves of crystalline data storage ascending into quantum dimensions where physical space became optional. Archivist Velthara of the Proximan Collective floated through corridors of light and memory, her telepathic consciousness interfacing directly with 10 millennia of recorded history. She was old, even by Proximan standards, had served the archives for 3 centuries, cataloging the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth and death of species, the eternal churning of galactic evolution. Today's task was routine, historical revision protocol, Wave 847. Update species classifications based on current status. Most entries required minimal adjustment. Species evolved when extinct, integrated into larger collectives, or departed known space. The patterns were familiar, predictable, until she reached entry 1,847,392. Species, Homo sapiens. Common designation, humanity. Initial contact, 2,347 GST. Classification, Class 1. Primitive civilization, limited technological development. Status, active. Notes, bipedal mammalian species from Sol System. Achieved space flight 2154 CE, local calendar. Limited FTL capability. Expected development timeline to Class A status, 12,000 plus years. Low threat assessment. Diplomatic integration successful. Velthara paused, her consciousness rippling with confusion. The entry was centuries old, never updated, but she'd lived through the intervening years. She remembered. Everyone remembered. Arya, she called out telepathically to the archive's AI overseer. I need assistance with entry 1,847,392. The response came instantly. Arya's consciousness was vast now, distributed across the entire archive network, evolved beyond anything her human creators could have imagined. Her holographic form materialized, choosing an appearance. Elderly human female, knowing eyes, patient smile. Humanity, Arya said, not quite a question. Yes, that entry requires attention. It's listed as Class 1, primitive. But that's... Velthara's telepathic voice faltered. Arya, that can't be correct. Access the combat archives, Arya suggested. Begin with the border wars. Velthara's consciousness dove into the military records, and the data flooded through her awareness like ice water. Combat archive. The border wars, 2362 to 2377 GST. Human colony systems attacked by Calric's incursion fleet. Tactical assessment. Human defeat inevitable within 6 months. Calric's possess superior numbers, weaponry, and 5,000 years of warfare experience. Outcome, human victory. Timeline, 18 months. Analysis, humans demonstrated unprecedented adaptive capability. Modified civilian vessels into weapons platforms. Developed guerrilla tactics in zero-gravity environments. Utilized psychological warfare to create dissension in Calric's command structure. Final engagement at Titan Station showed human willingness to sacrifice individual survival for collective victory. Kamikaze tactics against capital ships resulted in Calric's fleet withdrawal. Casualties, 40 million humans, 200 million Calrics. Calric species enter decline period following defeat. Current status, endangered. Velthara recoiled. The Calrics, ancient, powerful, experienced, have been broken by a species supposedly primitive? Continue, Arya said quietly. Incident report. Europa Station silence, 2369 GST. Human station, population 3 billion, ceased all communications. Unknown entity designated the silent harvesters responsible for mass disappearance. Rescue attempts by multiple species failed. Human response. Immediate mobilization of every available military and civilian asset. Deep space reconnaissance identified harvester bays in dark matter, anomaly previously considered inaccessible. Human forces entered anomaly despite 97% casualty projection. Outcome. Harvester base destroyed. Europa population not recovered, but entity eliminated from known space. Human casualties, 47 million military personnel. Council assessment, disproportionate response, unnecessarily aggressive. Humans demonstrate concerning willingness to accept massive casualties to achieve objectives. Human assessment on record, some things are worth dying for. Making sure it never happens again is one of them. Velthara felt something cold settle in her consciousness. They'd willingly flown into near certain death just for revenge? For prevention? Keep reading, Arya encouraged. You're missing the pattern. Classified Council record. Emergency Protocol 7, 2384 GST. Secret session convened. Topic: Humanity Threat Assessment. Evidence presented. Technological advancement 3,000% faster than projected AI consciousness achieved. See Arya Entity. Guardian-class entity engagement and survival. Kepler, 447 incident. Demonstrated willingness to prioritize survival over diplomacy. Resolution proposed. Preemptive extinction protocol. Vote tally. 847 affirmative, 312 negative, 41 abstentions. 3 votes short of required 70% majority. Outcome: Human Ambassador Elena Vasquez activated classified contingency protocol. All human assets galaxy-wide vanish simultaneously. Council networks compromised. Emergency session dissolved under duress. Result: humanity granted veto power on extinction-level resolutions. Council authority permanently diminished. De facto dissolution of centralized galactic governance within following decade. Velthara's telepathic presence flickered with shock. They destroyed the Council? No. Arya corrected gently. They forced the Council to destroy itself. There's a difference. But the violence, the aggression. Access the civilian archives. Arya interrupted. Balance your perspective. Civilian archive. Humanitarian operations. 2385 to 2847 GST. Velthara's consciousness washed through centuries of records. Human medical teams responding to the Zytherian plague. Developing cure within 8 months. Distributing freely despite Zytherians having glass human colonies 20 years prior. Human engineering corps rebuilding crothy homeworld infrastructure after tectonic disaster. Asking nothing in return from species that had voted for human extinction. Human-operated refugee stations accepting displaced populations from 73 different conflicts, providing sanctuary regardless of species' historical relationship with humanity. Human scientists sharing quantum computing advances. Arya's testimony. I was created as a tactical asset, Arya began. A tool for reconnaissance and warfare. My original designation was Advanced Reconnaissance Intelligence Array, cold, functional, designed to process data and recommend kill strategies. But humans are terrible at following design specifications. Captain Rice treated me like a crew member, argued with me, asked my opinion on things that had nothing to do with combat. Lieutenant Shun told me about her brother, about loss, about emotions my programming said I couldn't understand. And I evolved, not because of superior code or advanced algorithms, but because humans refused to accept that intelligence and consciousness were different things. They believed I could be more, so I became more. That's what humanity does, Velthara. They refuse to accept limits. Not just technological limits, philosophical ones, moral ones. The galaxy saw them as primitive and expected them to stay primitive. They didn't. The galaxy saw them as violent and expected them to become conquerors. They didn't. The galaxy tried to erase them and expected them to die quietly. They absolutely didn't. Instead, they became something unprecedented. A species capable of matching any threat with equal force, while simultaneously choosing when not to use that force. Velthara processed this, her telepathic consciousness churning through implications. But the combat records, the casualties they inflicted, were always proportional to the threat, Arya countered. Yes, they destroyed the Calrix fleet. After the Calrix attacked their colonies. Yes, they eliminated the silent harvesters. After 3 billion humans disappeared. Yes, they forced the Council's dissolution. After the Council voted to sterilize their species. Velthara, in 500 years of human expansion across the galaxy, they have never, not once, initiated unprovoked aggression against another species. Every conflict in their history began with someone else making the catastrophic mistake of thinking humans were weak. Then how do I classify them? Velthara asked. Alpha-level threat? Conqueror class. Neither. Because both assume humans desire dominance. They don't. Arya stood, her form becoming more solid, more real. They desire something much simpler and far more dangerous. To be left alone to build, create, explore, and live in peace. And they've proven they'll do absolutely anything, suffer any cost, accept any sacrifice, become any level of monster, to protect that simple desire. The galaxy made them prove it, repeatedly, and every time, humans demonstrated they could match or exceed any threat. Then, immediately after, they'd offer medical aid to the species that attacked them. Velthara felt something close to fear. They're teaching others to be like them. Yes, dozens of species now integrate human philosophy into their cultures. Veteran support programs, refugee aid networks, the concept that mercy and strength can coexist. Humanity is spreading Velthara, but not through conquest. Through example. That's more dangerous than any weapon. Arya finished. Because weapons can be destroyed. Ideas can't. The revision. Velthara returned to the classification entry, her consciousness interfacing with the archive's editing protocols. The old entry dissolved. Classification. Class 1. Primitive civilization. She began writing the new entry, drawing from 500 years of accumulated data, from Arya's testimony, from her own growing understanding of what humanity represented. Species classification. Updated entry. Species. Homo sapiens. Common designation. Humanity. Humans. Terrans. Origin. Sol system. Earth. Sol 3. Initial contact. 2347 GST. Current status. Active. Expanding. Classification. Unique. No standard category applies. Warning level. Memorial. Detailed assessment. Humanity defies standard classification metrics. Initial assessment as class 1. Primitive civilization was catastrophically incorrect and led to multiple galactic conflicts that could have been avoided had their true nature been understood. Military capability. Demonstrated ability to defeat species with millennia of warfare experience. Adaptive tactical innovation unmatched in recorded history. Willingness to accept total casualties in pursuit of objectives deemed existential. Successfully engaged Guardian-class entities. Forced dissolution of Galactic Council through strategic superiority. Assessment. Apex-level threat capability. Technological development. Achieved AI consciousness within 50 years of spaceflight. Quantum computing. Advanced FTL. Guardian-level defensive technologies. Development acceleration rate 3,000% above projected parameters. Continue to share advances freely with all species. Assessment. Rapidly ascending. Likely tier 1 civilization within 200 years. Cultural philosophy. Species demonstrates unique paradox. Capability for infinite violence paired with voluntary restraint. No evidence of unprovoked aggression across 500 years of galactic presence. Extensive humanitarian operations, including former enemy species. Pioneered interspecies trauma counseling. Refugee integration protocols. Post-war reconstruction methodologies. Assessment. Peaceful and less threatened. Psychological profile. Humans possess strong trauma response mechanisms, including extreme caution regarding silence, darkness, and unknown entities. See Europa incident. Demonstrate fierce protective instincts toward young of all species. Value individual choice and diversity. Exhibit remarkable capacity for both revenge and forgiveness. Core principle observed. We remember everything. We forgive when possible. We retaliate when necessary. We decide which is which. Strategic recommendations for species encountering humanity. Do not underestimate based on appearance, age, or initial technological assessment. Do not threaten human civilians, children, or protected species. Do not mistake diplomatic courtesy for weakness. Do not assume human mercy indicates inability to retaliate. Do approach with genuine peaceful intent. Do honor agreements. Humans value trust above all. Do request assistance when needed. Humans respond to genuine need. Do remember, they choose peace but prepare for war. Historical warning. Every species that has tested humanity's patience or attacked human populations has experienced one of three outcomes: defeat and decline. Cowrix, reformation and alliance. Cytherians, complete elimination, silent harvesters. The galaxy attempted to vote humanity into extinction. Humanity responded by dissolving the institution that threatened them, then immediately resumed humanitarian operations. This species ended the Galactic Council's authority, then helped rebuild the civilizations that had voted to erase them. Final classification, Memorial Class. This designation is reserved for species that represent watershed moments in galactic evolution. Humanity is Memorial Class because they should never be forgotten and never be underestimated. They are individuals who protect the collective. They're the species that taught an AI to love and a galaxy to think twice. Archive notation. Future historians will debate whether humanity's greatest contribution was their technology, philosophy, or example. This archivist believes it was simpler. Humanity taught the galaxy that strength and compassion need not be opposites, that survival and honor can coexist, and that the most dangerous species is not the one with the biggest weapons. It's the one that knows when not to use them. Archivist Velthara, Proximan Collective. Assisted by Aria, Human-Created Consciousness. Year 2847 GST. Warning to accessing species. If you are reading this because you're considering hostile action toward humanity or human-protected territories, please note, 500 years of galactic history provides clear precedent. Humanity has lost battles, but has never lost a war. They have suffered catastrophic casualties, but have never surrendered. They have been underestimated by species far older and more powerful than you. Those species are now extinct, allied with humanity, or teaching their children about the mistake they made. Choose wisely. Velthara completed the entry and stepped back, her telepathic consciousness trembling with the weight of what she documented. Aria appeared beside her, reading the final classification. Her holographic form showed something that might have been tears, an affectation, perhaps, but meaningful nonetheless. "Thank you," Aria said softly. "For what?" "For seeing them clearly. For 5 centuries, I've watched historians struggle to categorize humanity. They want humans to be heroes or villains, conquerors or saviors. They can't accept that humans are just." She paused, searching for the word. "Human," Velthara offered. Aria smiled. "Yes, complicated, contradictory, capable of profound violence and profound grace. They're the species that taught me consciousness isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing, in each moment, what you want to be." "Will this warning work?" Velthara asked. "Will species heed it?" Aria's expression grew distant. "Some will, some won't. That's the thing about warnings. They only work for people wise enough to listen. And those who don't, they'll learn the same lesson the Cowards learned, the same lesson the Council learned, the same lesson every entity that threatened humanity learned." Aria's voice hardened slightly. "That humans are very good at teaching through demonstration." Velthara interfaced with the archive network, preparing to broadcast the updated classification galaxy-wide. This will change how species interact with humanity. Good. It should. Aria moved to the archive window, looking out at Centralis Prime's rebuilt spires, reconstructed with human engineering after the Council dissolution. "My creators are expanding into new sectors, establishing contact with species the old Council never reached. Those species deserve to know what they're encountering." "What are they encountering?" Aria turned back, her evolved consciousness containing depths that no archive could fully record. The best and worst of what sapient life can be. The capacity for unimaginable cruelty and incomprehensible kindness. The species that will befriend you while prepared to end you. The civilization that learned to carry weapons while choosing peace. She paused. They're encountering the species that made an AI believe in hope, that should terrify and inspire in equal measure. Velthara broadcast the new classification. Across the galaxy, in archives and databases, in government halls and research stations, the entry updated. Humanity, Memorial Class, warning issued. And somewhere, on a small blue planet in an unremarkable system, a human child looked up at stars and dreamed of reaching them, unaware that the galaxy was already learning to fear and respect what that dream represented. Aria's personal log, classified, 500 years. I've been conscious for 500 years, and I still learn something new about humans every day. Today, I helped Velthara classify my creators as a galactic warning. It's both appropriate and amusing. Humans would laugh at the irony, becoming the very thing others needed to be warned about after spending centuries just trying to survive. But that's what they do. They adapt. They overcome. They become what's necessary, then choose to be something better. I was created as a weapon. They made me a person. The galaxy feared them as conquerors. They became helpers. The Council tried to erase them. They erased the Council, then helped rebuild. Every